All right, so we're going deep on LLMs today.
Large language models, yep.
LLMs and finance.
And how they're really changing the game.
It really does look like we're seeing like a glimpse into the future of finance here.
Yeah, you've got a lot here looking at how AI can analyze, all this market sentiment to algorithms that can predict like stock movements, even virtual trading agents.
We've got some pretty in-depth stuff to go over here.
Yeah, we do.
We've got these excerpts from a research paper, LLMs for financial apps.
Yeah.
A ton of details and real-world examples.
Real world stuff, yeah.
So let's just jump right into it.
Okay.
When we talk about LLMs, what we're really talking about is a computer program that not only understands human language,
Yeah.
but can also write and speak almost like a person.
Yeah, and I think what sets them apart from those old chat box
Right.
is the large part.
Okay.
LLMs are trained on massive amounts of data.
Wow.
Billions, even trillions of words.
So they can learn really complex patterns.
Yeah, they can pick up on things like context, nuance, even humor.
So they're not just spitting out pre-programmed responses.
Yeah.
They're actually learning.
They are. They're adapting based on the information they're given.
So they're kind of grasping the meaning behind the words?
Exactly. Not just the words themselves.
With meaning.
And it's all thanks to this thing called the transformer architecture.
Okay.
Think of it like this. LLMs can see the connections between words in a sentence, understanding how they actually relate to each other.
There was a pretty big step forward.
Oh, yeah, huge.
This research paper, it looks specifically at how these LLMs are being adapted for finance.
Right.
Why is that such a game changer for the financial world?
Well, think about all the information that floods the financial world every day. News articles, company reports, social media posts, market data.
Right.
It's overwhelming.
For sure.
Even for, the smartest person.
And LLMs can handle that.
They can, and they thrive on it.
Right.
LLMs can analyze these huge data sets super fast
Yeah.
and accurately.
Yeah.
They can cut through all that noise to uncover hidden patterns and generate insights much faster than any person could.
Much faster.
And they can understand, complex financial jargon.
Yeah.
That's something I struggle with sometimes.
Me too, honestly.
Yeah.
So it sounds like LLMs could really change how we interact with financial markets.
Absolutely. I think, we're just scratching the surface.
Really?
Yeah, let's dive into some examples from the research.
Okay.
One of the first things they talk about is what they call linguistic tasks.
Linguistic tasks.
Yeah, basically it's using LLMs to deal with all this text-based information.
Okay, give me an example.
So imagine summarizing a really long financial report, pulling out the key data points.
Without having to read the whole thing.
Yeah, without reading those dense pages of text.
Okay.
LLMs can do that. They can also identify important financial entities like companies, stock symbols.
Right.
And they can even create these visual maps.
Visual maps.
Yeah, they're called knowledge graphs. And they show relationships between different pieces of financial data.
So instead of just getting lost in all this text, you've got an AI that can organize it and highlight the connections.
Exactly. That's incredibly powerful.
Yeah, it is.
And it's not just about making it easier, it's about uncovering insights that we might miss.
As humans.
Yeah, LLMs can see these patterns and connections that we, as humans, we might overlook.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What about information that's not, nicely formatted text? Finance has got a lot of charts, tables, graphs.
You're right. So much of it is visual, and traditional AI really struggles with that.
Right.
But researchers are building something called layout-aware LLMs.
Layout-aware.
Yeah.
Interesting.
These can actually understand the context of charts and tables, even if the text is an image of text.
Even in something like a PDF.
Exactly.
So they're understanding the visual layout.
They are.
Wow, that's a big step forward.
Huge. It shows how much this field is constantly changing.
Okay, let's talk about something that's always really interested me. Sentiment analysis.
Oh, yeah. So this is the part where AI can, read people's minds.
Well, at least when it comes to the market.
Yeah, you're not far off. LLMs are analyzing sentiment in everything, from financial news, social media posts, even earnings calls, and those FOMC meeting minutes.
Wow.
They can actually go beyond just looking for keywords.
Right.
And really understand the nuances of language.
So they can really gauge what the market sentiment is.
Yeah. It's like an AI that can read between the lines and figure out what people are really thinking about the market.
So they're trying to predict market movements just by analyzing words.
And it's still early, but the potential is huge.
I can imagine.
It's not just what's said, but how it's said. The
Okay.
tone, the choice of words, the subtle cues. LLMs are learning to pick up on all that.
To get a more accurate picture.
Exactly.
The research even mentions this LLM called Finbert,
Yeah, Finberg.
trained on, like, specific financial language.
Yes. And what's interesting is that it's harder to manipulate than the traditional sentiment analysis methods.
So you can't trick it as easily,
You can't.
which is important.
Yeah, especially when people are always trying to influence the market.
This is all very exciting.
It is.
But can LLMs actually predict stock prices?
I think that's the question everyone wants to know.
It's like the Holy Grail, right?
Yeah. And the research is still ongoing.
Okay.
LLMs are being used for financial time series analysis.
So you're looking at the market over time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How it's changed and evolved.
Got it.
LLMs can process these huge historical data sets.
Okay.
Everything from price movements to news events to social media sentiment.
So it's not a crystal ball
No, but it can give us a better understanding.
of where the market might be heading.
Right.
Hmm.
Now, there's a lot of debate about whether LLMs can truly do better than the traditional methods.
Sure.
But, what's exciting is that researchers are always refining these models.
They're always finding new ways to use them.
They are. There's this framework called Risk Labs that uses LLMs to integrate different types of data.
Different types of data.
Yeah. For more accurate risk prediction.
So they're not just looking at price data.
Right.
They're factoring in other information.
They are, to get a more complete view of the market.
That's the true power of LLMs.
I think so. Their ability to synthesize all this information and find those connections that, might be missed by traditional approaches.
Okay, let's move to financial reasoning.
Okay.
These LLM-powered robo-advisors really have me intrigued.
Oh, yeah.
It's like having your own personal financial advisor available all the time.
2-on-4-7. Yeah, imagine an AI that can analyze your whole financial situation, understand your goals, and then give you personalized advice.
That's pretty incredible.
It is. It could make financial planning much more accessible.
Yeah, especially for people who can't afford, the traditional human advisors.
Absolutely. That's the whole goal.
To make advice more affordable.
Yeah, more affordable and available to everyone.
But we do have to be careful.
Of course, yeah.
These systems have to be fair,
They do?
unbiased,
Right.
and we don't want to just, create AI that reinforces existing inequalities
We don't. So we need to be careful about the data and the design.
of these systems.
Yeah, but the potential benefits are huge.
They are.
Just imagine everyone having access to personalized financial guidance.
Yeah. Wow.
It's pretty amazing.
The research even talks about this study where an LLM called GPT-4 Turbo,
GPT-4 Turbo, yeah.
it actually did better than human analysts at financial statement analysis.
I know, and it avoided that look-ahead bias, which is a huge problem in financial modeling.
Look-ahead bias.
Yeah, it's like cheating.
Oh.
When a model accidentally uses information from the future
Okay.
to make predictions, but this one didn't.
So it's like an AI analyst that doesn't cheat.
Pretty much. It could help us build, more reliable financial models.
This is all so interesting.
It is, yeah.
Let's talk about agent-based modeling.
Okay, this is where things get really interesting.
This sounds like something out of science fiction.
I know, right? Imagine building a world where you can test different trading strategies.
A virtual world.
Yes, and see how they actually play out.
Like a financial video game.
It is, but with, real-world implications.
Oh, wow.
You can create these intelligent agents powered by LLMs
Okay.
that simulate how the market works.
Okay.
And they factor in everything: investor behavior, news events, economic indicators.
So it's a really powerful way to test how different things might impact the market.
Yeah, it is.
The research mentions examples like Stock Agent, where different LLMs actually show different trading behaviors.
I know, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that's fascinating. So we could create personalized trading agents.
Right, we could, yeah, tailored to individual risk tolerance and goals.
So you could have an agent that matches your specific needs.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it's not just about, stock markets. LLMs are being integrated into broader economic simulations, allowing agents to process information and adapt,
In real time.
just like real people.
That could lead to some really insightful economic models.
Right.
Ones that actually reflect how complex the world really is.
I think so.
Building these complex systems must take a lot of work.
It does.
Tell me about the data sets and benchmarks being used.
So the research really stresses the need for specialized data sets for financial LLMs.
Data sets specific to finance.
Yes. collections of text and data that are relevant to the financial world.
Okay.
So it's not just feeding them any data.
Right. It has to be the right kind of data.
Yeah, data that's tailored for financial AI.
So it's not just about quantity, it's about quality.
Exactly.
What about benchmarks?
Oh, there are some great examples like Financial Freeze Bank, FinQA, and FLUE.
These are designed to train and evaluate these models.
They are.
Right.
And it gets even better. There's this open source framework called PIPE-XIU.
Open source is great.
Yeah. It's designed to promote transparency and collaboration.
That's really important.
It is. And it includes a financial LLM, a data set, and a benchmark, all available for researchers to use.
So researchers can work together and share their work.
Yeah. Which can really speed up progress.
Absolutely.
It shows how the financial AI community is really trying to make these technologies accessible and beneficial.
To everyone.
Yep.
No technology is perfect, though, right?
Right.
What are some of the challenges with LLMs in finance?
Well, one big one is data pollution.
What does that mean?
It's the presence of bad data.
Inaccurate data.
Yeah, misleading data, irrelevant data, all in those data sets.
And that's a problem because...
It's the classic garbage in, garbage out problem.
Right.
If you train an LLM on bad data, you're going to get bad results.
And in finance, small errors can have big consequences.
Absolutely. So researchers are really focusing on high-quality data.
Human-generated data.
Yeah, and better ways to check the data produced by LLMs.
To make sure it's accurate.
Exactly.
You also mentioned signal decay.
I did.
What does that mean?
So imagine you have this amazing trading strategy that's making you a ton of money.
Okay.
But then everyone starts using it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and the market adapts.
So the advantage disappears.
It does.
Oh, yeah.
As more people use the same signals, they become less effective.
So how do we overcome that?
Well, LLMs can actually help with that.
Really?
Yeah, they can learn and adapt to these changing conditions.
So they can stay ahead of the curve.
They could. It's like having an AI that's constantly refining its approach, looking for new signals and patterns.
That's amazing. So it's not just a static model, it's evolving.
Yeah, constantly evolving, just like the market.
Let's talk about computational costs.
Sure.
These LLMs sound incredibly complex.
They are.
How much computing power do they need?
It's a valid concern. They can be expensive.
To train?
Yeah, to train and deploy. But researchers are trying to make them more efficient.
So they can be used by more people,
Exactly.
not just big institutions.
Yeah.
Okay, last question for now.
Okay.
Who's responsible when an LLM makes a mistake?
That's a tough one.
It is, yeah.
As LLMs become more integrated into our financial decision-making, we're going to need clear legal frameworks.
To figure out accountability.
Yeah. It's not just about blame.
It's about making sure there are ways to address any harm that might be caused.
Absolutely. It raises all sorts of questions that we'll need to figure out.
It sounds like uncharted territory,
It is.
but with huge potential benefits.
Yeah, but we need to be careful and make sure we have the right safeguards in place.
Me too.
Yeah. This has been an incredibly insightful conversation.
It has.
In the next part of our deep dive, we'll shift gears and look at some specific examples of LLMs in action.
Yeah, real-world applications.
And what it all means for investors, institutions, and society.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned.
Okay. So we've been looking at the theory behind LLMs,
Yeah, all the potential.
the potential.
But how are they actually being used in the real world?
Right. Well, this research actually gives us some good examples.
Oh, perfect.
So one area that's getting a lot of attention is LLM-powered investment tools. And investment tools, okay.
Yeah, designed to help investors make better decisions.
Makes sense.
Often by using alternative data.
Alternative data.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's data that goes beyond, like, the usual financial metrics.
Oh,
Think social media sentiment, news articles, online reviews, even satellite imagery.
satellite imagery. Wow.
Yeah. The idea is that this data can reveal trends and insights.
Insights that you wouldn't get from just looking at numbers.
Exactly.
But it's about getting a bigger picture.
Yeah, a more holistic picture.
And LLMs are good at this because...
Well, they can understand the nuances of human language,
Right.
and they can pull meaning from text that's not structured, like, in a specific way.
So they can find the signal in all that noise.
Exactly.
The paper mentions GPT-Quant, which is a tool specifically for investment research.
Oh, GPT-Quant. Yeah.
Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so GPT-Quant uses a conversational AI powered by LLMs
Nope.
to give investors insights and analysis.
Yeah, so you can have a conversation with the AI.
You can. About your investment ideas.
Wow, hold on. You can actually talk to the AI about stocks.
You can.
That's pretty amazing.
It is.
What kind of things can you ask it?
Well, pretty much anything you'd want to know.
Okay.
You could ask about specific companies, request data, get its opinion on market trends.
You could even run your ideas by it.
Exactly. It's like having your own team of analysts available 24/7.
Wow, that would be a game changer for individual investors.
It could be.
It would give them access to that sophisticated analysis.
Yeah, that's the goal, to make it accessible to everyone.
To level the playing field.
Exactly. But of course, there are always risks.
Right. With any new technology.
Yeah, like we talked about before, bias in LLMs.
How are developers making sure these tools are fair?
That's a top priority, yeah.
Okay.
They're doing a lot of things carefully, choosing the data used to train the models, designing algorithms that are transparent.
So people can understand how they work.
Exactly. It's not just about making money. It's about building tools that are fair and equitable for all investors.
We don't want to create AI that just makes existing inequalities worse.
We don't know, so there's a growing awareness that diversity and inclusion are really important.
For building trustworthy AI.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on from investment tools to risk management.
Okay, risk management, yeah.
It's a crucial function for all financial institutions.
Oh, it is, and LLMs are proving to be really valuable there.
How so?
Well, they can analyze huge amounts of data
Okay.
to identify all sorts of risks, market volatility, credit risk, even cybersecurity threats.
So they're like superpowered risk analysts.
That's a great way to put it. And
Yeah.
they can do it way faster than traditional methods.
I can imagine.
Yeah, they can sift through all sorts of data, news articles, social media, regulatory filing.
Internal company data.
Exactly.
To find those warning signs.
Yeah. The paper mentions a study that used LLMs to predict risk.
Really?
Yeah, from earnings conference calls.
Earnings conference calls.
Yeah.
Okay.
They used an LLM to analyze both the text and the audio of the calls.
The audio too.
Yeah, so it wasn't just about what was being said, but how it was said.
So tone of voice, pauses, things like that.
Right. And they found that the LLM could actually find patterns in the data.
Patterns that correlated with future market volatility.
Exactly. It was like an early warning system.
So it could potentially alert investors to risks before they happen.
That's the idea.
That's incredible. It really does sound like LLMs are becoming essential tools
I think they are.
for navigating the world of finance.
Yeah, the world of finance is complex, but we have to remember that LLMs are just tools.
Right.
They're not replacements for human judgment.
We still need the experts.
We do, yeah. We need people who can understand the output of these models, interpret the results, and make decisions.
So experience and expertise are still crucial.
Oh, absolutely. We need people who understand the limitations of the technology, who can spot bias, and who can make those tough decisions.
Okay, good. This has been a really eye-opening discussion.
It has, yeah.
LLMs are already changing finance, and it feels like we're just at the beginning.
I think we are just the beginning of this revolution.
Okay, so in the next part of our deep dive,
Yeah.
we'll look at the future of LLMs in finance
The future.
and the potential implications for everyone, not just investors.
Sounds good.
All right, stay with us. So we've talked about what LLMs are, how they work, even seen some real-world examples.
Yeah, we've covered a lot.
Now let's look ahead.
The future.
What advancements are you most excited about in the future of LLMs in finance?
Well, one thing that I think is really interesting is the idea of even more specialized financial LLMs.
More specialized.
Yeah, so we talked about Finbert.
Right, for general financial language?
Yeah, but imagine LLMs that are like experts in specific areas.
Okay, so instead of one general financial LLM,
Yeah,
we could have one that's an expert in biotech,
right.
another one for crypto.
Exactly. The more focused the AI.
The better the analysis.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
And it's not just about specialization. I think we'll see LLMs integrated with other really cool technologies.
Like what?
Like quantum computing
Quantum computing.
and blockchain.
Oh, okay, those are some big words.
I know, but they're really exciting.
Break it down for me.
Okay, so quantum computers can like process information incredibly fast.
So much faster than regular computers.
Way faster. And that could really boost LLMs.
How so?
Well, they could analyze even bigger, more complex data sets and find patterns that we can't even imagine right now.
It's like AI on warp speed.
Oh, pretty much.
What about blockchain?
So blockchain is all about security and transparency.
Okay.
It's the tech behind cryptocurrencies, but it can be used for so much more.
Okay.
In finance, blockchain could create like a tamper-proof record of data.
For LLMs.
Yeah, so the information used to train them would be really accurate and reliable.
So it could address some of those concerns we talked about.
Yeah, like data pollution and transparency.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it could even lead to like Decentralized financial systems.
Decentralized.
Yeah, where LLMs would automate things, manage risk, and ensure everything is fair and efficient.
So everyone would have access to financial services.
Exactly. Regardless of where they live or their background.
It's a pretty amazing vision.
It is.
What about the people working in finance today?
That's a big question.
Are robots going to replace everyone?
I don't think so, not entirely. I
Uh,
think the human element, things like intuition and ethical judgment,
those are still important.
they're essential, but the jobs will definitely change.
So people need to adapt.
They do.
The skills will be most valuable.
Skills that complement what LLMs can do.
Like what?
Critical thinking, problem solving, communication.
Being able to work with this technology.
Exactly. People who can bridge that gap between technology and human understanding will be in high demand.
So the future belongs to those who can learn and adapt.
I think so. It's a time of constant learning and embracing new things.
LLMs could transform not just finance, but our whole society.
They could, yeah.
What are some of the broader implications?
Well, one really exciting possibility is that LLMs could create a more efficient and equitable financial system.
Sure.
Everyone could have access to personalized advice.
Regardless of income or social status.
Yeah, imagine.
That's a pretty powerful idea.
It is.
But there are risks too, right?
Of course, we have to be aware of those.
We've talked about bias and transparency.
Right.
What else should we be thinking about?
Well, we need to make sure that LLMs don't make existing inequalities worse.
Okay.
If they're only developed and used by big corporations and wealthy people.
It could create even more concentration of wealth and power.
Exactly. The benefits have to be shared broadly.
Everyone needs access to these opportunities.
Absolutely. Technology is a tool.
It can be used for good or bad.
Right. It's up to us to shape how it's used.
You make sure it benefits everyone.
Exactly.
This has been an incredible conversation.
It has, yeah.
We've gone from the past to the present to the future.
And LLMs are at the heart of it all.
It's clear they have the potential to change our world in really big ways.
Big ways, yeah.
It's an exciting time, but also a time to be thoughtful and careful.
I agree.
I think the key takeaway is to stay curious, stay engaged, and stay informed.
Absolutely. Learn all you can about LLMs, ask questions, don't be afraid to challenge what you hear.
The future is full of possibilities.
It is.
And it's up to all of us to create the future we want.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of LLMs in finance.
It was a pleasure.